Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Odyssey, and today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin, specifically the 3-day chart, as well as the MACD cross to stay locked in. Now, there is something very interesting happening on the 3-day chart, similar to my previous video on XRP, where we were looking at the 2-daily MACD cross. However, it is not on a 2-daily chart, but rather the 3-daily. We're adding more power to that move simply because it is a higher time frame. So if we look here at the bottom, we have just confirmed on the 3-daily a MACD cross. The lines that you see on the screen are the iterations of when we had this prior 3-day MACD cross, and it's been a few times, but it does not come up often. The last time that we actually saw a 3-day cross on the MACD was the 15th of September 2024, which is some time ago. And that marked essentially the next phase of this bull run. If we look at the prior iteration, which was the 17th of July, that actually came in at a relative top here, a lower high, and ultimately we saw price action go down to the floor here. Now, what's the likelihood of that happening with this? It could do. This could essentially fail, come up here, and then come back down, just as it did in the previous time. However, we want to look at the duration of this consolidation from where the high was made. And we can see that up until that MACD cross that occurred, we had 42 bars or 126 days. If we look at the same now for this consolidation, I think that's the top there, yep, and we're looking at, lo and behold, 42 days. Okay, so we're seeing 42 days come up again where we had that same MACD cross. However, this one failed. Yeah, this one came to the downside. Are we going to see the same thing happen here where we're going to go to the downside? Interesting. This MACD cross came after a move that already had reached the highs, yeah? So if this MACD cross is going to play out, then ideally we would get to somewhere closer to the highs, and we can still see that. Then obviously we have the chance of even forming a lower low and coming down even further, as we did back here in August, where we came back down and ultimately formed another low, yeah, a lower low. And then that was the low that we then W bottomed out and then made our way to the upside, which we can see here. When we had that MACD cross, we also had another MACD cross that came in September, which was the true one, which put us on that bull market again. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen. Let's have a look at what happened in February. We had a MACD cross. This time it was above the histogram here, so not as deep as the one that we currently have. And you can see that led us to 72,000 from 41,000, which is a 74% move. Yeah, same thing here. We had a MACD cross on September 2023, and we had a 90% move. So you can see here, we could go back indefinitely. However, when we see these MACD crosses, depending on, so if we look at some that have failed here, so this one here, similar to the depth that we're in now, and what was it? It wasn't a significant move. Why? Because we were in a bear market at that moment in time, yeah? The whole of this period indicates a, not as far as there, but bear with me just a second. From here to here was our bear market, essentially. So the bullish crosses that we had here, or the MACD crosses that we had here, although the market went up, it did not move with the power that we associate with a bull market. And right now, Bitcoin, unless we see anything different, we are in a bull market. And you can see that by these series of higher lows, higher low, and a higher low. So our structure hasn't broken. So there's nothing really to be afraid about when it comes to whether we are in a bull or bear market until we see this trend line break with conviction. Then we can safely say, do you know what? We're doing something different. Okay, we've broken structure. Now we have something to fear. Maybe a bear market is in. Maybe the high is in. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. And I'll see you back with the next one. Peace.